Greetings and salutations everybody. Today we are going to be bringing back an old video series from the channel where we review different types of current altcoin projects on the market. Starting off with a project that has been heavily talked about in the last couple of days in the crypto space, and that is none other than Worldcoin, which was founded back in 2019 and got eventually launched 3 days ago in July 24th on the Optimism and Ethereum main networks. Now this video will be broken down into different segments, and we're going to be starting off by breaking down what exactly is Worldcoin about and what are they trying to achieve in the space. So the core concept of Worldcoin is to create an UBI system that is inherently verified by the AI. UBI standing for Universal Basic Income, a concept that has been conceptualized already in 14th century, which has been experimented in the last couple of decades in multiple countries, which has shown mixed results, sometimes kind of minimal effects. Also, there has been a couple of attempts to create UBI in the crypto space as well, but these have been very under the radar style projects which really never amounted to anything or really garnered a large support or publicity for that matter. And the idea really is to get people using the World app, which is basically dubbed as the first protocol compatible wallet. After you have installed the app and done the initial verifications, you are allowed to use this physical orb, which is located in different places around the world, and there's going to be more locations as more time goes on. And this orb is basically a biometric verification device that basically does a retinal scan on your eye, and then you're proven as to be a unique human being. And by doing this verification, you are basically getting the first Worldcoin airdrop, which is currently valued at $54. And after the first month, you are going to be getting a 1 Worldcoin on a monthly basis as an UBI. This reward, however, is expected to get lower as more time goes on. The other key design of the Worldcoin idea is to have these identities which are inherently private and are not like behind a KYC, because we kind of know that KYC information can be stolen by people and used by other people, and this is like a one way where exactly we can have a verification of our identities without giving our private data away. So you are basically proving yourself as a human being, and then your wallet address is being verified, and this functionality can be used in different style of verifications, like other types of airdrops might want to use this type of model and only drop to the people who have basically done the retinal scan, so they can actually like combat cyber attacks and things like these. And as for the Worldcoin itself, it is designed to be a governance token and go through a progressive decentralization. So a large part of the supply is currently in the ownership of the team and the organizations. More about that later on. And this will be a slowly process to basically become more decentralized as more time goes on. And all of the process will basically become like automatic through the AI, and more of the supply and everything will be in more decentralized hands, so to speak. And there's obviously a lot more regarding the speculation of the future use cases revolving around this coin, which we'll tackle on the later parts of the video. So let's jump into the tokenomics next. The max supply of the Worldcoin project is at 10 billion tokens, with the potential of seeing an inflation top of that 10 billion after 15 years. By default, that inflation rate is at 0%, but the governance will have to do a vote on what is going to be the inflation rate. Is it going to be at 0, or is it going to be at the max cap, which is at 1.5%? Whatever there is any possibility of having any deflating mechanism on the Worldcoin token remains to be unknown at this current conjuncture. The current circulating supply is 110 million according to Dune Analytics, And out of the total supply of 10 billion tokens, which we talked about just now, 75% will be distributed to the Worldcoin community. This is the Genesis grant. This is the UBI reward that is being given out to people. This is also the payments that are given to people who find bugs, and also the people who are operating the orbs. So the orbs are not necessarily operated by the Worldcoin Foundation. These are basically given to the people who are applying for these positions. So you can apply to host the orb, your city basically, and you will be getting paid in the Worldcoin token, and later on you will be paid in USDC depending on certain regional restrictions. Now, in terms of how is the rest of the supply being distributed, 10% is being held by the initial development team, roughly rounded up, and the TFH investors will be holding roughly 15% of the supply, and these are basically the people who created out the physical orb. Now, in terms of the lockups for these tokens, you have both for the developers and the TFH investors are locked up for 12 months, and then gradually through 24 months those tokens will be unlocked. So out of the 110 million which are currently circulating, basically all of that is either owned by the people who were participating on the early bird stuff, or they are basically exchanges which are loaning part of those Worldcoin tokens. But basically the developers, the founders, the investors have none of the tokens until 12 months have basically passed. So in next year, they're basically going to be getting their funds. And as I said, the vesting fund is through 24 months. And it will take 15 years until the max supply of 10 billion is reached. And at that valuation, it would be around 217 billion valuation in terms of the coin market cap, which would make it 6th largest project by market cap in the current numbers. But the expectation we obviously have in the crypto space that the total market cap is a lot larger, so they in reality wouldn't be number 6, they would be probably somewhere lower, and we don't obviously expect that this price is going to be staying the same throughout the 15 years. I think that is quite wild assumption, given to the fact that how much of the supply is being distributed over those 15 years. Now, in the context of the overall crypto market cap and how it would increase over the years, as I said, I don't think the valuation is that crazy in my opinion. I do think that it's going to be hovering sub $2 at some point this year, maybe sooner than later, we have to see. But I do want to say this. However, the idea of getting a raise of 225 million from multiple investors through 3 different investment rounds, I think it's kind of greedy to actually allocate 10% of the supply to the actual initial developers, given the fact that they already have been paid for their work that they have been doing at this company. So this allocation to me is actually kind of greedy. Also, I'm not a big fan of the part that both the investors and the developers are getting the money at the same time, which will cause a massive price crash probably due to massive amounts of the token being dumped on the markets. Next up, we really have to talk about decentralization and the security of Worldcoin. And a lot of the critique really has been 98% regarding the retinal scans done by the orbs. And here's why I think it's kind of dumbfounded and a bit tinfoil to actually think so, because a lot of the modern devices that we use, phones, laptops, and other devices, we are using our fingerprint scans to get into them or PIN codes. We are not using retinal scans to get into our homes, apartments, or cars, or anything else. That is the shit that you see in the movies. Be honest about this. When you have actually seen any person outside of a fucking movie or TV show actually use a retinal scan, I haven't never seen that, okay? And people are also building out this weird argument that we are neo-colonialists by going into these third world countries and scanning people's eyes, like we are stealing their spirits or some shit. And most of the people are probably might be even dead at the point when actual these retinal scans are going to become even popular in those parts of the regions. I mean, it takes like 40 years in some parts in Africa and Asia to get those in the mainstream. So I don't think it's like we are stealing anything from them. And also understand this point. 40% of you probably are watching this video right now on their mobile phones, which have a front and a back camera. When you take selfies, film clips for TikTok, or take pictures for Instagram, or FaceTime someone, data is being collected from your face at all goddamn times. Like, this is already happening, guys. Like, we are being filmed constantly on the public by cameras, security tools, even some modern monitors in PCs have light cams, a lot of laptops have, and that's just normal. Like, a lot of our data has been collected by when going to airport or when we take our passports. Governments already have a lot of this data already, okay? Fundamentally, this is just kind of tinfoil talk because we don't have any live examples where that retinal scan could be abused as of right now in terms of like getting to access to our any devices, homes, or etc. And in terms of the actual token itself, everything around the project is open source. And I believe the orb scanning stuff is also open source, and the physical parts of the device and the firmware are going to be, I'm not sure about the firmware, but they are going to be gradually made also open source throughout the time. And that's actually kind of interesting given out how much fun there has actually been about the project itself. There are some things that they have been not so transparent about, which we're going to be talking about later. But in terms of like the project itself, supply and everything, like it's pretty open source out there and everybody can basically verify it. Now, in terms of the decentralization, this is where a lot of my problems really come from. Because the current distributed amount of these verified accounts are actually pretty evenly distributed. So the majority of the verified people are in Asia and in Africa right now, as it should be, because those people need it the most. So it's kind of evenly distributed among the regions. North America doesn't really have that many, actually. There is a problem with the orb distribution. When you look at all the locations where the orbs are available right now, and also by the end of the year, you clearly notice that they have multiple locations in countries like Spain and Portugal. Let's be fair, Spain is not doing economically really well, but when it comes to whole Eastern Europe, Scandinavia, any Black Sea regions, there's zero orbs there, and there's going to be zero orbs there by the end of the year. Turkey had a very, very bad time with inflation. Same with Lebanon, Syria, and I don't think the Russians are doing that hot either right now, and Ukraine obviously. So why exactly we're not having orbs on a lot of these locations where it actually makes sense, instead of like having trillion fucking orbs in somewhere like Spain or Portugal? What's the point of that, in my opinion? Like, shouldn't this be a lot more mathematically distributed per region? Like, we're gonna have 10 in Europe, then we're going to have 10 in Asia, 10 in Africa, 10 in Latin America, 10 in North America. This is how it should be conducted. But the current distribution model, like as I said, 0 locations in Russia or China. So there are clear regional biases here which don't make any sense to me outside from an actual political lens. And how hard is it to actually get an orb? Also, they have not been transparent about how much the orb operators are making money, how many tokens they are getting, and how long those orbs are going to be operational on each location. Are they 3 months or 5 months? I think it's a good system that they are going to be there only for a limited amount of times, or they're not going to be throughout the 15 years or anything like that. We are going to be changing hands in terms of the orbs, but fundamentally there are like things in place to basically further decentralize the system, long as they're going to be adding these regions and countries on a lot more sensible distributed way. Before we jump into the last segment of this video, I kind of want to touch upon a bit of the team and also the speculative nature of the Worldcoin's potential. So obviously the most important person in this team is Sam Altman, who is also the CEO of OpenAI, which are behind ChatGPT, DALL-E 2, and some other AI tools. And in a lot of ways, I see OpenAI as this potential massive corporation akin to Microsoft, Apple, and Google in the future in case they don't get acquired by someone else. But I kind of see the trajectory here that they could become, they are already kind of like the de facto company to look into the AI space, and I think they're going to be acquiring like smaller companies probably and expanding their businesses. Like, we don't know what these guys are working on right now. Are they working on AGI or something else? And that's one of the most bullish propositions here. While it was on the Bankless interview with Sam Altman and the COO that they were not really announcing any type of a collaboration or connection with OpenAI and the Worldcoin, but I think it's heavily assumed that there is going to be like, you are able to make out payments for the API or like buying credits with Worldcoin on DALL-E 2 and ChatGPT. And this integration in itself is kind of like the golden goose, because ChatGPT already has like 10 million users or something like that. And there's going to be more users going down the line. But as I already alluded earlier, we don't know what other things OpenAI might be working on in the future, and could Worldcoin be integrated into those in the future. Now, in terms of the rest of the team, they are names that I don't really know, nor do I care for. I think it's a very good thing, though, that all the positions, the important positions in Worldcoin are held by men, not women. So that's a very one bullish signal that I have for this project. And seeing less women in general at this company like would be preferable for its success. I mean, they don't have too many at this point. Hopefully they won't hire more. So the reality, though, is that when you give like free stuff, in this case tokens, to people, they are gonna usually dump it, and most of the time immediately. So it's very crucial for this project that they are going to be building out use cases that are going to be relevant for the third world as they are going to be for the first world. So the first worlders would probably use it for OpenAI and things like that. And maybe on the third world, it could be like mobile credits or something like that for mobile phones or talking like that. But who knows how long mobile phones are going to be relevant even in Africa. Are we just going to be moving into like internets and Wi-Fi and stuff like that? But, you know, otherwise, if they don't find these use cases, it's going to be just gradually crashing as more of the supply is being released and these token vestings end. And obviously, there's going to be more people onboarded to the actual project. So my overall verdict for Worldcoin is as follows. At this point, I don't really see it as a sensible investment, so I wouldn't really buy this coin. I would rather actually short it instead. And as a matter of fact, Bitfee has already opened up perpetual contracts for Worldcoin. There's also a USDT pair in case you want to do spot trading as well. And get this, you can get 10% discount on your trading fees if you're going to be signing up to Bitfee under this code. So pretty great deal to get started out with this Worldcoin stuff. And what I really think is the true smart play is to actually sign up for the retinal scan, because you are going to be getting that free Genesis airdrop, which is currently valued at like $50 to $52. And then obviously throughout the next 12 months, you're going to be getting additional $25. And if it's going to be running for multiple years, you're going to be getting gradual money drops every single month. And you should be just dumping these as you get them. That's like free money. As long as you don't have to like pay extensively to travel into the location, get your eye scanned, I think this is the kind of the play to make here. Don't buy into the token, don't buy it, but actually get the airdrops instead. And also, I think another way to make money with this is to become one of those orb partners, because it seems like free money to me. I don't know, as I already said you earlier, we don't know how much these are getting paid, but I think they're going to be getting paid per like eyes scan. So in case you're going to be bringing a lot of people, you're going to be paid for every single person that you basically bring in to the Worldcoin network, which is pretty good. So in case you have some business sense, you have an actual place where you can host this reception or something, you should probably apply for that. If you are interested trading or generally speculating with the asset, here are some other exchanges that are currently supporting trading for Worldcoin, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing more exchange listings in the near future, which are also going to be causing some price jumps potentially for Worldcoin. And I think it's very important to pay more attention to the potential roadmap updates and what integrations they are going to have in the near future, because that's where the real valuation comes from here, before believing this is going to be the next thing, obviously. And eventually there might be some gas limitations in optimism likely, But seeing that it already exists in both Optimism and Ethereum, it kind of indicates that there would be a certain possibility that they might be changing chains in the future as well. So it really comes down to what they're going to be doing in the future and what are going to be those massive integrations. If they're going to be doing those well, this could be meaning price jumps for the actual token and its valuation. But that's all I have to say for now. Leave a comment below what coin you would like to see reviewed next on the channel. And until then, I will be seeing you soon. Cheers, guys.